Hello and welcome to Kerbal Sysram. I've been working on an experimental plane design thingy, and this is it in the SPH as I've been working on it. Obviously, it very obviously has things on it that don't make any sense for the fact that it's, you know, a work in progress in the SPH. It's not really meant to fly with this stuff on it. That said, oh dear, that was a bit of a rough shit. I wanted to see if it would be possible to take off with that stuff on board. Obviously, the first attempt at that led to disastrous many explosions. Oh, still exploding. Alright, sounds good. Let's try that again. And the game said no. Alright, we're going to attempt to launch this insane amalgamation again. This time, I'm going to set this engine on a, let's say, 58% thrust. Hopefully that will help balance the fact that the center of mass is obviously very much off on this craft. Unfortunately, it seems that that thrust limit is too high still, so I'm cutting it down even more. Cutting it down even more. Okay, so we're mostly flying on one engine, essentially. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the afterburners, because I feel it needs the assistance, and whoa. Alright, let's get into the air. Oh dear. Getting into the air was maybe not the best, and we're gonna die. Alright, well, we survived. The plane didn't, but we survived. Yeah, that did not work out very well. Ah, jeez. There goes the SPH. Hope you didn't need that. Okay, we're gonna do a more realistic launch. I'm gonna strip off the stuff that's temporary, that is just here for testing purposes, and just leave on the stuff that I've kind of purposely had fitted on here, which is still a bit of an overload of weapons. We have, what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guns on here, 2 pairs of 2, and then 2 others. We've also got 8 Tau missile launchers, we've got 2 harms, bunch of rocket launchers, 2 sidewinders, a cruise missile, a jamming pod, a whatchamacallit, targeting pod, and yeah, I mean that's about it for the weapons. We got 4 flares, 2 chaff, got plenty of ammunition, radar receiver, AI, and of course the weapon manager. Let's make sure that didn't save. Okay. Alright, here we go with a much more reasonable launch. Everything is more fitted for how this thing is expected to fly, what it's expected to fly with. And I guess this is as good as any time for a weapons test, a general weapons test. So I'm going to go ahead and disable the afterburners. We're still accelerating, so that's a good sign. We'll go ahead and arm the trigger. And we're going to select the AGM-86Cs, which... GPS. What on here is AGM that's GPS? Is that the cruise missile? That might be the cruise missile. Let's fire it. Yep, that was the cruise missile. Where'd it go? Yeah, of course it goes low. It wants to fly low. It also doesn't have a target, so actually it's not, like, planning to fly properly, so it's probably gonna crash and, yep. There we go. Okay, 2 sidewinders away. We've got Tau missiles, which have turrets, which clip massively, unfortunately. I probably will... I'll take those off, if nothing else, then because they clip, and I hate when things clip like that. So, yes, we're gonna go ahead and, nope, okay, apparently not. I was gonna try and fire one just then, but, it said no. Let's see, let's go ahead and pull up modules. Let's get our targeting pod targeting something. That way we can actually have a target for those Taus to fire at. Nope. Nope. They don't seem to want to fire. Alright, we're gonna not worry about that then. We're gonna go into the Brownings, which are in the intakes. As you can see there, 2 Brownings. Next up we have harm missiles, which of course work based on finding and seeking radars. There you go. We have a M320, M230, which is a turret, 30 cal turret underneath there, which is pretty sweet. And again, looks like it'll willingly clip into the plane, which I don't like. Yeah, I'll have to change the aiming on it, how far it's willing to aim. And There you go. And it only fires to a certain degree aft. Mostly prefers to fire forward, which I have no problem with, really. Alright. Of course, we have the SCOM rockets. Which work exactly as you'd expect. Lots of rockety death happening. Two 20mm Vulcans. And of course a Vulcan turret, which is on top. And only has a certain degree range, obviously, but oops, yep. Yes, very nice. Actually, if I wanted to, I could take something out with this. Unfortunately not quite enough firepower to take that out, it seems. Oh well. Oh, it doesn't want to turn as far as I thought it would. I thought it would turn farther than it does. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh well. So yeah, I guess that's a suitable weapons test for now. As you can see, things work fairly well, other than the TOW launchers, which honestly I didn't really want on here anyhow. I felt that they were a bit too ridiculous an item to have on board. Let me see if I can manually tell one to fire. Whoa! That's not good. I mean, we still have ECM jamming. Oh dear. Not much else on this plane functional though. We're kind of fucked. And we survived that somehow. Wow, just raining debris. This is great. Alright. Pretty heavy impact, but fortunately, thanks to Kerbal Crash System, we survived that. Yeah, I think Kerbal Crash System, it's great for pretty explosions and pretty denting and stuff, like, well, not pretty explosions, but pretty denting and like I think, it makes for cooler crashes, but it also makes them, I feel, far too survivable. Okay, so first I'm loading up the amalgamation of all sorts of shit. And I'm thinking, first of all, I should get rid of these Vulcans on top, these hidden Vulcans, and just go with the 50 cals, because I feel that would be more appropriate. Obviously the Vulcan turret and the... Is my phone ringing? My phone is ringing. Alright, so I've removed the TOW launchers, I've changed the minimum pitch angle on this, I am leaving the targeting pod where it is for now, I'm leaving the Brownings in there. Oh yes, I need to take the Vulcans off, of course, because that was the whole point of doing part of this. Let me move this over, because I want it, kind of want it over here now. Let's say right about there. Yeah, right about there. And then I'm going to keep the 30mm ammunition in there. Under the air brakes is where there previously was the 20mm rounds, but now is the 50 cal rounds. And we have double the amount of 50 cal rounds now. Let's see, I'm leaving the rocket pods where they are for the moment, although I think that would be changed. Actually, come to think of it, a much better place for them would be under here, just in front of the landing gear, except that maybe there's not enough space there. But what I'll do is I'll move them forward just a little bit, just so they clear the landing gear, and of course the landing gear will be up when they're fired, so there's no risk of them damaging the landing gear when they're fired. And also, what I'll do is I'll move these, I'll move the, I'll move the harm missiles. Yes, harm missiles. I had to stop and think for a bit what they were called. I'll move them forward just a little bit more so they have more room to clear the, clear the pods when they're fired out. Although they're fired out at an angle, they should be fine. Actually, I'm going to move them just a little more forward. And I'm going to move the rail just a little more forward as well. Of course, that rail can be multi-purpose. Right now it's holding a harm missile, but you can put other stuff on it. Also, that reminds me, so the cruise missile is held on by a rail. It's very precariously held on, maybe, but yeah, I think this looks alright. Our laser targeting has a bit of clutter around it, to be honest. But, see, essentially, the original nose cone on this was this piece right here. So you had this small radome and the FLIR targeting ball on the very front. And I decided to make it kind of an optional thing. You could have it with either nose cone. You could also take off the forward canards if you want. This right here is intended to be used in a big ol' fuel tank that could be put on the bottom here. Obviously I haven't finished designing that yet, and obviously the chain gun would have to go if you did that, but I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm also going to be putting some missile rails, more of these adjustable missile rails on the wings so that we can put multiple ordnance all over the wing, just many of them, as many as you would like. And speaking which of, I just thought of something. Maybe a Hellfire could go. No, that doesn't look good. Nope, never mind. I was gonna say maybe I could stick a Hellfire there, but no, that doesn't seem to look good. Also, those just placed when I tried to throw them away. Interesting. That is an interesting bug. All right. Well, let's see. How do I want to continue from here? I guess at this point, really, all there's left to do is place the missile rails and get them at the appropriate level of spread. I'm going to go ahead and... yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this Hydra 70 rocket pod because we're not going to be using it. And I'm going to copy one of these Mavericks to use over here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an adjustable missile rail. I'm going to put it on, and then I'm going to use absolute mode, absolute rotation to kind of make sure it locks into place, because it looked like it was slightly wrong. And I couldn't be sure, so that twisted all the way around for some reason. Alright, that looks good. And what I'll do now is I'll take this Maverick and I'll stick it on there. And then what I'll do is I'll use that to help me position where they should go. Whoops. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting now. Okay. Well, I'll put one there, put another one just a little bit to the side. And then, of course, they can be repositioned slightly as needed. And another one. Just kind of, just basically filling up the wing. Ah, I hate that bug. Sometimes when you click and then move the mouse, it decides to accept the movement of the mouse before the click, which doesn't make any sense. Well, maybe it does. Somewhere in the engine's code, it prefers movement over clicks or something, I guess. I don't know. And that can throw off what you're doing. So yeah. Many hard points. That is the point of this design. It's designed to have many hard points. It's designed to be fully loaded with a ton of missiles. It is the XHWAP, which stands for Experimental Heavy Weapons Attack Platform. I'm not sure what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm just gonna maneuver these around like I said. Okay, that's about as lined up as I'm gonna get them. Yes, that is my super perfectionist tendencies that you saw, like just me taking forever to line them up right. And since the Tau missile is the tiniest, oops, okay, we're gonna have a bunch of them lined up on the most outer pylon thing. And then, ooh, excuse me, and then Hellfires, wait, what up? Yes, Hellfires, there, and there. There we go. Little bundles of death on the ends of the wings. And then of course we're gonna need more bigger missiles. More bigger missiles. Yeah, I can speak swells. And actually that may have been a mistake, because the bigger missiles going further in are gonna be a lot closer to this whatchamacallit tail fin. And we don't want that. Let's see how a cluster bomb fits under here. Oops. Let's see how a cluster bomb fits. Of course, it will clip into the tail massively, which is not what we want. Let's go ahead and stick them further out on the wings. Not necessarily the best solution, but it works. Actually, let's put them right here. Yeah, okay. Ooh, bits of frame drops there. Let's go ahead and stick some JDAMs on here, which I'm going to guess are going to have a similar problem to the... Oops. Let's go ahead and stick them there. They're going to have a similar problem to the cluster bombs, except more pronounced. There we go. So stick them a bit further out. And then we have 2 pylons closer in. I actually might stagger those more forward on the wing. Like, I carefully lined them all up, but now I'm thinking I might want to actually have them go further forward. Not sure just yet. Let me, of course, put in snake eyes or regulars. Snake eyes or regulars. I'm thinking some snake eyes? I think I picked up the snake eye. No, I didn't. Ah, I thought I had picked up the snake eyes. I guess not. Oh well. Whatever. Not much difference. Let's see what happens when I stick a snake eye there. I think even a snake eye is too close there. Alright, but if I stick it there, and I stick in 3 of them, clustered in real tight, I like how they fit pretty well. Like, I think if you go and look internally, they do clip a little, but not a huge amount. It's barely, and I think that's acceptable. Alright, let's take a look at what happens when we deploy this. They just barely miss, looks like. Gosh, they go really, really close, but they just barely miss. Yeah, okay. They barely miss. That's good enough for me. That said, I am definitely going to move the pylons forward, even though I'm making sure that these things carefully miss right now. I think it would just be better to move the pylons forward a bit, which is unfortunate for the aesthetic I was going for, with everything all perfect. But I'm thinking the 3 innermost pylons should step forward just a bit, so I'll drag this one. Let's see, how am I going to measure this? I guess I'll measure it by where I can actually physically see it. So I'll move it forward about that much. Whoops, oh dear. Okay, this one gotta go to at least there. And the final one will have to go right up to here. Now let's see. I think that's a little bit dramatic, but I think it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and see what happens if we try to put in an AMRAM right there, which I know won't work. I can say it now. Yeah, see, that's clipping right into that. But through the power of the offset tool, we'll make it go forward enough to be no problem. Yes. Beautiful. Although now it's really close to the snake eyes, like, getting in the way. So I think what I'll do is I'll swap the snake eyes and the cluster bomb, which may also be... Oh, come on. Yeah, that looks fine. Alright. Of course, I didn't check for clearance on the back of the cluster bomb, so the cluster bomb is fine. That said, I am going to drag it forward just a little bit. Especially because, how's our center of mass looking? Actually, it's still pretty good. Like, I think overall we're balancing things fairly well. Yeah, this thing can be laden down with a ton of weapons. That's literally the point of it, is just to be able to have a ton of weapons on board. And let's see what happens when we deploy this. Does that clip? Oh, it does ever so slightly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is... I'm gonna be mad is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think I just need to move... Damn. I don't wanna move everything down just a little bit, because I'll be imprecise, and I'm very picky about being precise with things, so actually let me stick one of these in here, right? And so that should be, oops, leveled off pretty well with what we already have. Of course, it's kind of hard to see, but I think we can make it work. Let me just accidentally move it while it's in that mode, darn it. Okay, I-beam, we're going to tell you to go down just a little bit. And then we're going to go to every single one of these and tell them to go down just a little bit. This time, because I'm so picky, I'm not going to try to be too precise. Just going to get it close enough. There we go. Oops. Adjustable missile rail. Oh, this one I'm going to have to look inside the bomb. Okay. Just down to there. And then, actually, the ones on the end, I'm just going to leave them up a bit. Okay, get rid of that. So we have the capability for AMRAMs, harms, sidewinders, a whole bunch of bomb ordnance, and we're all good. I would like to stick a couple more sidewinders on here, though, and I think the way I'm going to do that is by, that's the wrong thing, sidewinders. Alright, they take up about that much space, which means I do have clearance for them down here. Good. I was hoping I would. I wasn't sure if I would, but I was hoping I would. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just... I know that's too far forward, but I'm going to start by sticking one there and just seeing if I can... Okay, I'm just going to do that. And, oh, you want to stick to the wrong thing. How about now? There we go. And I wanted 2 of those, actually, so let's get 2 in here. They're not placed as far down as I wanted, actually, because I wanted them... Okay, let's see. How far forward could we stick these, realistically? Pretty far forward, actually. Yeah, there's plenty of room. So let's see if we have enough room to actually stick them doubled up, which I think we do. I mean, hey, the whole point is to be heavy weapons platform. This thing will blow up 3 times before it'll even deploy half of its ordnance. You know, assuming you're in a combat scenario, you know, an actual combat scenario, this thing will probably get blown up far before it actually is able to deploy all of its stuff. But yeah, we're gonna definitely need to go in here to the offset tool on these adjustable missile rails and put them in a bit closer. That's gonna clip the rear. In fact, I think it already was clipping. Let's undo that for a moment. Actually, that's just clearing. And then here with this, I think it is unfortunately clipping just ever so slightly. Yeah, it is. That's unfortunate. Well, let's see. I could try moving them forward a bit. Or I could move them back. Moving them back would make them literally like stick out the back of it, which I don't want to do. I mean, they're already sticking out quite a bit. Moving forward I'm not too bothered by because we still got room to move forward up front. Alright, let's try... Well, first of all, let's go ahead and... Yeah, save it with this configuration. And then I'll try this, and then if it doesn't work, I'll revert. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. I tend to save a lot more than I actually revert to a save. Okay, so that should be clear now. Hold on. Tricky camera controls. Yes. No. Yes, that is just barely clearing. Yeah, that's clearing. Okay, good. So, now though, we have to move the forward ones more forward so that they're not sticking their tailpipe into the previous ones. There we go. Actually, I can... Oh! Okay. Thanks, Windows. Thanks for that. I moved them... Okay, you literally just told me that. Windows gave me the same alert twice right away. Good job, Windows. You're a dumb piece of shit. Yeah, so, part of the idea of this is that this cruise missile can be taken out, and you can put this fuel tank in here, which obviously would get in the way of putting these sidewinders in, so you'd have to take them out as well. You can also replace the nose cone with this radome if you so choose. And obviously you could redistribute ordnance as you wish. I also was thinking of making a gun pod for the GAU 8, so that basically based off of this fuel pod here, something similar but designed for holding ammo and the GAU 8 itself, so you could have a gun pod under there. And I was also thinking of doing something with having a 50 cal turret pod, although considering I have a chain gun turret capability to just, you know, built in, I don't see the need for that so much anymore, so I'm not worried about it. Now, one thing I am noticing, since I wanted my initial version of this to come with every type of weapon on it, and we don't have any Mavericks on board, that's a problem. So we're going to need to replace something with the Maverick, or something. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do to remedy this situation, other than, I mean, I could try to put it on the same grouping as another series of weapons. Like, what happens if I take off a Hellfire and put a... That probably won't... Yeah, see, that's just clipping right through some of the Hellfires, which doesn't look good. What if I put it on with the Tau? Same issue, so let's not do that. I guess we just won't have Mavericks on the default one, and obviously you could put them on later. Obviously I'm also missing a couple of weapons, I believe. Well, yeah, a couple weapons. Also, I just noticed something. Are these... Oh yeah, these Sidewinders are actually clipping into the cockpit. Oh, that's unfortunate. So they don't clip in the back, but they do clip in the front, which means they're going to need to be moved. Or I can just not care and deal with it. Oh, but they're clipping in there as well. Damn. Damn. Okay, let's try... Well, first of all, how far back can we move them? Because I know I moved them forward more than I needed to. Oh, come on. Stupid indicator. There you go. Okay, let's move them back to... I think that's a good enough clearance. Now... I can just move them out a bit, like that. That takes care of that problem. It looks slightly odd back here because it means the Sidewinders aren't aligned anymore. However, that doesn't look too bad. Plus, I can just do the same thing to these. Oops, come on. And get them lined back up again. And I think that will look good. Yes, that also gives us a little more clearance on the back, which is nice. Very nice. In fact, I'm thinking about moving these back some more now that they have the clearance to go back some more. Nah, they really don't. I just noticed that one of the sidewinders is actually clipping into the targeting... No, excuse me, into the targeting pod, so let me just... Oops, click the wrong button and get rid of one of them. There we go. So now we just got one up top, up front. Is that still... No, it's not clipping. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything is awesome. Yeah, this all looks good. I'm gonna drop the... Actually, let me keep the 50 cal like just here temporarily so that I know I want to do something with it. Get rid of those I-beams. Get rid of this Mark 82 we're not using. Get rid of this AGM we're not using. And I believe we're pretty much done. The only thing I really want to do is I do want to set flaps controls, toggle flaps on 0, which is going to be for these, and possibly the outside as well. I'm not sure. I'll try it with the outside, and then if I don't like it, then I can change it back, obviously. So let's go ahead and save it like this, then get rid of the 50 cal, get rid of the, whatchamacallit, the fuel pod, get rid of that, get rid of the gal, and I'm going to save this as test, with, you know, the word test on it, actually. I mean, the same name, but with the word test added, so I know that it's the testing version. And the clock in my room is still wrong, so I gotta remember to deal with that. In any case, here we are, heavily loaded, on the runway. Forgot to deploy flaps. Okay, come on. Yeah, I imagine it's gonna be a bit heavy getting off the ground. But there you go, we are in flight. Let's go ahead and raise the flaps. Alright. Everything is insane. Yes, this is definitely inspired by the F-15 in some regards, especially the F-15 active, those forward canards on the intakes like that. Definitely inspired by an F-15 active. But AGM-144s, I believe those are Hellfires. Yep, that's a Hellfire. Alright, now we're using AGM-88Cs, which I believe are TOWs. Nope, that was the cruise. Alright, what am I using now? AIM-120s, those would be radar seeking, but we don't have radar right now. And it refuses to fire them, probably because there's a harm missile roughly in the way, so it doesn't want to fire it when it could hit something else. AIM-9s, those would be our sidewinders. Looks like it's going to fire the odd one first, then the wingtips. Then, ooh, that one back there, which was a little close to that laser-guided pod, but it fired it just fine. Now we have the TOW missile selected, which, whoa, that one. The TOW missiles, the way they fire is pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. And of course we have the Browning, what are they called? Browning 50 cals. Fires just as you'd expect. Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice they fired in, like, out of sequence. That's cool. Alright, what do we got? CBU-87, that would be cluster munitions. And now we have the harms. And now we have M230s. That would be... Oh, yes, that's the turret down there underneath. Very nice. And Snake Eyes. Oh, it won't fire the last two because there's a, whatchamacallits? The, JDAMs are in the way. Now we have the SCOMs, which, of course... Probably have some more on board. How many do I have left? Come on, tell me. Okay, there we go. Snake Eyes. Drop the last two of those. Back to the M230. Nothing. And AIM-120s, which I've kept for this whole time. Alright. And... Actually, I do need to test the, whoops. M230. Yeah, it's gonna clip massively. That's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna have to set it to a 0 pitch angle. 0 pitch angle will make it not clip anything except the rocket pods, which won't always be there. So that should be okay. But for now, I'll just have nothing selected. Go ahead and activate the afterburners. And head back to the KSC. Meanwhile, my cat's walked into the room and has decided to peek his head out the window, which is funny because he can't really, like, reach up there very well, so it's kind of funny watching him try. Sometimes we feel nice and we help him out. Of course, I can jettison these. Whoops. Nope, not that. Not the targeting pod. Come on. And of course, going at supersonic speeds, they bounce off the hull and cause damage. So now we are leaking out of this tank, I believe, and that one as well. And that one as well. Are you just not going to let me select it? Thank you. Yep. Leaking out of those two. Come on. Yep. As I expected. Alright, gonna throttle down. Activate the brakes. Ah, yes, beautiful. Beautiful. I like this plane. I took a screenshot with it, I forgot that it was damaged right now, so I just took a screenshot with it damaged. That's gonna look good later, I'm sure. Let's go ahead and just drop straight down, pretty much. Can we jettison this? I forget. Oh, let me... Oh, no, we can just enable it. Okay. Landing without HUD because I'm hardcore. Not really. This thing has a lot of wing surface on it, so it can fly pretty good. Oop, shit. I messed that landing up really bad. And now we're drifting on the runway. Oh, shit. I broke off both wings. Ah, that's bad. That's really bad. That was a really bad landing. One cool thing I did, though, was I made these the inner control surfaces on this part of the wing instead of on the other part, so that if you did lose the outer wing, you're more likely to still have control surfaces. Also, I never actually showed the flares, which do a sort of cross pattern, and then chaff deploys out the back. So yeah. Yeah, because that's a good idea. Just flooring it just on the ground like this. Actually, if I didn't break that, which I just did, it might have been a cool idea to test flying it with half the wings gone. Oh well, that's that. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in space.